The Charlotte Hornets have made big moves this offseason, and so far, they are winning the offseason. They're quietly putting on a masterclass in winning the offseason. Even though they had a good season last season, they pretty much blew up their old blueprint, getting rid of LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges, but they've built a more versatile roster. So this video, I'm going to be talking about why Charlotte is winning the offseason, and I think they've made the most improvements compared to any other team so far. Obviously, the offseason is just getting started, but Charlotte is my winner so far. Now, the Hornets had struggled for many years, but last season they finally got over that hump into the playoffs. Now they appear to be building their roster around standout rookie last season, Nipple. Although they had LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges, they ended up trading them away. Their front office just decided to move on from them, so it looks like they're trying to build a team around pretty much just focused on Con. Obviously, they got a bunch of talent all around, but they haven't been making moves like this until Nipple had his incredible rookie season. So they're kind of banking that he improves more coming in sophomore year, and he doesn't fall off at all, which I don't think he will, but it's kind of a gamble. But if we do look at these trades of LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges, you could say they look lopsided at first, but Charlotte does get really good depth, and they do get key pieces in return. They got Naz Reid, standout sixth man from Minnesota. He'll anchor down the front court. And then they also bring in elite perimeter depth in Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal from Phoenix, in which they just gave up Miles Bridges for that. They also get 2 unprotected 2033 first-round picks, multiple pick swaps as well, which came in both of those trades. These assets give Charlotte a bright future, as well as just a strong current roster, so they might not be finals contenders, but they'll definitely be playoff contenders, and they can go decently deep in the playoffs for now. Like I said, they're building for the future too. Like, they're a very good young team right now. I definitely wouldn't be counting them out for next season. Charlotte also brought back Kobe White on a solid 3-year, $74 million deal. He'll be playing the 1, and with Kobe White paired up with Nipple in the backcourt, Brandon Miller at the wing, and Mosa Diabate and Naz Reid in the front court, as well as Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal coming off the bench. It's looking like a very solid, decently young team for starters anyway. But they still got good experienced depth coming off the bench, and that's just without even mentioning their draft capital that they got from these trades. The Hornets have arguably, I would say they've improved their roster talent-wise and depth-wise. Definitely depth-wise, but I guess it's arguably talent-wise. I think they improved it both ways. Even in the draft, which I'll probably recap the draft too in a couple videos, in a couple future videos. Not 100% sure yet. Don't have anything planned out. But anyway, they also grabbed 2 rookies with bright futures in the draft, with Steinbach being drafted with the 14th pick. He was a walking double-double in college. His offensive rebounding in the Charlotte offense with a backcourt of Kobe White and Nipple will probably be very lethal with getting those tap outs back to those deadly shooters. And then they got Christian Anderson at 18th pick. I'm going to be honest, I'm surprised he fell that low. Like I said, I'll make another video on the draft more than likely, so I'll go more in depth on that. But they got Christian Anderson at the 18th. Anderson also very lethal shooter in college. It'll be, I think he'll fit perfectly in this role, and it'll be nice to see him learn from still a young player, but learn from Nipple and just playing behind him. But yeah, Anderson in college shot 41.5% efficiency from beyond the arc. Incredible efficiency. He's a high IQ playmaker, and he'll more than likely be coming off the bench. I think he'll fit perfectly in the Charlotte offense, especially just behind another shooter in Concanipo, and even behind Kobe White, more experienced point guard. The Hornets do appear to be maximizing the timeline of Brandon Miller and Concanipo. Like I said, it looks like they're building their entire roster around the two now. I think they had been trying to work around LaMelo Ball, and then they just, after they saw Concanipo, they found their future. They realized LaMelo Ball is more than likely not the answer, and they trust Con more. But yeah, Brandon Miller and Concanipo, it will create a highly competitive environment for these two to grow and develop as players. They also collected massive draft equity for a potential superstar trade, or just increased depth. Is in the future is 2033, and they got pick swaps as well. But that draft capital more than likely will mean it's not guaranteed anything, but it could mean something. Depends on what they do with it. It's the Hornets, so you never really know. But although Charlotte did lose Melo and Bridges in all this, it really isn't as bad as it seems. And I think a lot of people do feel like, at least what I saw on social media, it seemed like a lot of people felt like the Hornets lost this trade with Minnesota, which I think maybe you think that if all you watch is like TikTok edits and you see LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards on the same team, which I get that, but I don't think the trade's as bad as it seems. I think it's a pretty good trade for maybe both teams. I think the Hornets do come out on top. That's a story for another video, maybe. Probably won't make a video on that, but anyway, over LaMelo Ball's career, his floor time has been heavily limited due to injuries. He played 36 games in 2022, 22 games in 2023, 47 games in 2025. He's just been very injury prone throughout his career. He's very talented, just he's been injury prone. His team spent years learning to construct the offense, adjust usage rates, play entire multi-month stretches without him. So his absence won't really be a shock to the system, just like losing a superstar player would be to some other team. It shouldn't affect Charlotte as much as it could if he played more, if that makes sense. I don't know if I explained that right, but Brandon Miller has a bright future. He's established himself as a high ceiling, as a modern wing, young player, bright future. I think he'll continue improving under this Hornets roster, assuming they keep him. I don't know why they wouldn't, though. Removing Miles Bridges, though, from Charlotte, that just kind of opens up more minutes for Brandon Miller, and it allows him to dictate the offense as a premier focal point. So kind of the offense will more than likely just run through him and Concanipo. Obviously, like I said, they got Kobe White probably running the one, but I think Brandon Miller and Concanipo are the focal points of this offense, or just this team in general. The backcourt is currently being reinforced with these high IQ, versatile guards in Concanipo, Kobe White, Brandon Miller. Like I said, they got Christian Anderson. They got a lot of young talent in the front court, or in the backcourt, excuse me. And the front court's good too. They're all around a pretty good team, pretty dangerous. I wouldn't want to face them in the playoffs, but I don't think they'll make it too far. But I do think they are playoff contenders for sure. Now, LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges, they do provide great box score stats. And LaMelo Ball is flashy. They got highlight reels, but that doesn't tell the full story. Melo's usage rate frequently hovers near the top of the league, which can freeze out secondary options and lead to high turnover games and low efficiency pull-ups. Neither Melo or Bridges is a lockdown defender. And then just moving away from neither of them are old, but moving away from them to younger assets will allow coaching staff to implement a more disciplined, modern defensive scheme team without having to constantly hide these liabilities on the perimeter, trying to slow down these rotations from the opponents. But ultimately, I think Charlotte has been cooking up something in the kitchen this offseason. I think they're making good moves. I think these moves made by Charlotte, they shift the current team and honestly the future of the franchise as well, just from a high variance, injury dependent ceiling to a more predictable, younger, and defensively balanced roster. Like I said, I think they're all around great talent all around. I think they improve their depth, probably improve their talent too. I think this is going to be a fun team to watch next season. A lot of people think they blew everything up after one good season, which it kind of looked like they did, but I think losing LaMelo won't affect them as much as people think. Same with Miles Bridges. Obviously, Miles Bridges got traded for 2 bench players. I assume Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal will come off the bench. I still think that's not a bad trade either, just because I think they needed the depth. As well as they got picks from it too. So they're a young team, talented team. They're still gonna make the playoffs this season. Very confident of that, and they'll, regardless if they go far or not, they have draft picks for the next 7 seasons at least. They'll they're gonna be set up good for a while. They should make a finals run here within hopefully the next decade. I know it sounds like a long ways, but that's where these draft picks go to pretty much up to 2033. So I do think the trade will end up working out for them at some point. I don't know if they'll win the finals at all, but I think they can make some good playoff runs and make some finals pushes at some point throughout these throughout the time that this trade is still going on with the draft picks. But that's my opinion on this, on just the Hornets offseason really, and these 2 trades in particular, and the Kobe White signing, or the Kobe White extension. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the Hornets offseason moves in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content. I'll be posting pretty much daily throughout the offseason, covering trades, free agency, any other significant or insignificant news. I do want to go over the draft. That might be a longer video though, so if you guys want to see a hour-long video, maybe close to 2-hour-long video, or hour to hour and a half long video, let me know, and I might make a video covering the entire NBA draft. Maybe I'll do 2 videos, one for the first round, one for the second round. I haven't really been thinking too much into it yet, but yeah, just let me know what content you guys would like to see covering the NBA or just any type of basketball in general, really.